We are just over 6.5 minutes until tip-off for the Heartland Conference Championship game featuring the number 1 team, the St. Mary's Rattlers, and the number 2 team, the St. Edwards Hilltoppers. Brian Maglione and Joe Rodriguez here on the call. And Joe, before the action gets set to take place, let's give a sneak peek at what the fans are hoping to expect from both teams. Joe, you called that epic first semifinal game between the Rattlers and the Lions of Arkansas Fort Smith. Just take us through that game and how the Rattlers can ride that wave of emotion heading into today's championship game.
Well, I think for the number 1 seeded St. Mary's Rattlers, the thing that they have to realize more so than anything else is that they can compete with anyone in any game style after that kind of game. They didn't really play their style. They were more up and down than usual. They usually like to slow it down, but still with the resilience that they had, they were able to come back from a 20-point deficit, and eventually it was a huge play by Christian Miner. March Madness well underway. It's going to be a great matchup here against the Hilltoppers. The Battle of the Saints in the Heartland Conference Championship. I know you and I wouldn't rather have it any other way.
And it is fitting indeed, having the number 1, number 2 teams in the Heartland Conference taking on one another, and it's even more fitting and apropos that it is these two rivals with such a storied history against one another. As we look back over the course of the regular season, both teams splitting the 2 meetings, Rattlers winning 1, St. Edwards winning 1. Joe, take us through those games as we look through the regular season.
Well, I have to say, it's been the home team's dominance. The first time these 2 teams played, it was back on January 17th. The Rattlers were victorious by 29 points as they had that huge game, you remember, here in Bill Greehey Arena at the time. That was to decide the number 1 team in the Heartland Conference. And then they traveled down to Austin. That was back on February 12th, a little bit less than a month ago, and the Hilltoppers, they slowed it down. They played their game, and they won 78-64, so a 14-point margin there. Both of these teams familiar with one another. Both of these teams strong when they're clicking on all cylinders. The main statistic that I'm looking at, the Rattlers 12-2 at home this year. The Hilltoppers, they're 5-5 on the road, so it seems like an advantage for St. Mary's there. They're going to have to come out strong, though. They cannot afford to get in a hole for the second night in a row.
And Joe, St. Edwards yesterday victorious over Texas Permian Basin in the 2-3 matchup. A pretty solid victory. They led throughout the majority of the ball game. Had a couple scares where UTPB was able to cut the deficit down to single digits at several points in the ball game. They ended up winning 78-70. What do you expect to see from St. Edwards to try and counter this St. Mary's attack? As you mentioned in the second meeting, slowing the pace down and ultimately winning by double digits.
Well, the final score yesterday said 78-70. The game was not that close. This St. Edwards team was in full control the whole way. When you look at these 2 teams and their season averages, it's eerie, the similarities. St. Ed's, they averaged 76.9 points per game while allowing 70.9. St. Mary's on the other side, they averaged 72.8 points per game while allowing 66.7. So it's within like 6 or 7 points on both ends of those things. So these 2 teams expect a little bit of a slowed down game. The tempo could pick up, though, as both teams showed they were capable of that yesterday. But key player that I'm looking out for St. Edwards, I really like Nussman in the game he put together yesterday. He had a double-double in his game yesterday. If he puts up a similar effort against the Rattler Bigs, it'll be very impressive. Nussman, though, he's a very seasoned player. He'll be more than capable.
Harley Nussman, a 6'11" senior from Pearland, Texas. And it'll be an interesting matchup seeing him match up against the Rattlers' own big Justin Alexander. Talk about what Justin Alexander can bring to the table for the Rattlers.
Well, Justin, he's really become the premier post player for this team. He's got the moves down low, and he also leads this Rattler team in rebounding. When he's able to get established early, it really opens up the game for the rest of the Rattlers.
Well, we are about a minute away from the player introductions. Players getting their final shots up. We are moments away from the start of the 2015 Heartland Conference Championship game, featuring the Rattlers of St. Mary's University and the Hilltoppers of St. Edwards. Stay tuned. We will have the game live for you right here on the Rattler Network. For now, this has been Brian Maglione and Joe Rodriguez. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in just a bit. that we welcome you inside Bill Greehey Arena for today's final game of the Heartland Conference Tournament, featuring the number 1 and 2 teams in the conference, the visiting Hilltoppers of St. Edward's University and the Rattlers of St. Mary's University. Bride Maglione joined alongside, as always, by Joe Rodriguez. An exciting build-up leading into this ball game, not only because it features the 2 best teams in the Heartland Conference, but also it features a rivalry, a battle of the Saints about to ensue on the hardwood. Joe, what do you expect to see from both teams as they vie for the title of Heartland Conference champion?
Well, I have to say this is an intense matchup between the 2 hottest teams in our conference. The Rattlers entering play today with a 6-game winning streak. St. Ed's right on their heels with a 5-game winning streak. It seems these 2 teams have been set to meet all year long, and now it's finally happening as we're just about to get underway.
And with that, the Rattlers win the tip. Starting lineup for the Rattlers: Marvin Binney, Marvin Witt, J.J. Bolton, Isaiah Matthews, and Justin Alexander in the middle. Alexander, his first shot is no good, and the rebound go to the Hilltoppers as Mabolu brings the ball up the floor. St. Edward's able to advance to this game with a impressive performance against the 3-team University of Texas Permian Basin. Good backdoor cut, but it is turned back by Justin Alexander as he rejects the leading scorer for the Hilltoppers, Ramir Burton. The 3 from Witt is no good. And Joe, early on, would you expect a bit of nervous energy from both teams? A very important game which would guarantee a spot in the regional tournament.
Now these 2 teams are raring to go. They're ready to play. You can tell by the tone setter right there by Justin Alexander, already making a statement that tonight it's his paint and he's going to be the player to watch. But a good follow and a finish there by Nussman as the Hilltoppers get on the board first.
Hilltoppers take the 2-0 advantage. The starting lineup for the Hilltoppers: at guard, John Gramlich, Frankie Mabolu, the other guard, a forward, more like a center, Harley Nussman, as Hill battled down low.
Good finish down low there by Isaiah as the Rattlers equalize, both teams getting in the paint early.
Ramir Burton, the other guard, the leading scorer as mentioned earlier, and completing the 5-4 St. Edward's is Trey Lindsay, a redshirt junior from Austin. Mabolu into the lane. Jump ball is called as Isaiah Matthews tied him up, and possession will stay with the Hilltoppers. 18-12 left in the first half.
And you can already see the defensive intensity being set by both teams. Isaiah, nice jump ball force there. Justin, the before mentioned block. Deep range 3 for Lindsay, it's good. And when your big man can finish from behind the arc, it can be tough matches for an entire day.
Trey Lindsay getting on the board. That's his first field goal as the Hilltoppers take the 5-2 lead. Isaiah from distance off the mark. Rebound by Benny, and he stepped out of bounds. Possession will go to the Hilltoppers.
And that one a tad bit out of Isaiah's usual range, although we do see him take those kind of jumpers. They're usually along the baseline. Good shot there by him and good pursuit by Benny, but just unlucky with his foot on the line.
Burton gets a pick. He's checked by Bolton. Burton all the way, flips it up, and he is fouled, and Justin Alexander took a shot right to the face as he goes down on a knee. Justin looks like he'll try to shake it off.
And I like the aggressive attitude out of Burton right there. First time he drove the lane, he was met by a good block by Justin, but Burton undeterred. He'll now go to the line for 2. Burton on the year, like you mentioned, their leading scorer, averaging 13.6 points per game. Also had 2.7 assists as well. Shot 72.5% from the line on the year.
Burton looking to sink the second off the mark, and we saw yesterday, although St. Edward's led throughout most, they struggled at the line against UTPB. Fortunately for them, The free throw shooting was not into question as Nussman turns back Alexander. Good defensive stand by Harley.
Yeah, and you see these two big boys already battling down low, both trying to power their way and set themselves as a dominant one. And you're right, Brian, the free throws, something you can get away with every now and then, but when you're in a championship environment, every point that you leave on the board is one that could come back and haunt you. Good offensive board by
Isaiah turning back Nussman, but Bolton lost his footing, and the ball will go back to the Hilltoppers with 16:52 left to play. A lot of energy out there on the floor, and our colleague Ruben Dominguez and myself spoke about how these teams usually play every other day, Thursday and Saturday games, a rare occasion where they play a back-to-back. How will fatigue affect both teams as the Rattlers, although they played the first game, they played in overtime as that shot is missed. Burton with the offensive board, his putback no good, tipped around, and St. Mary's comes up with it.
Yeah, and the thing about the Rattlers as well, you have to wonder emotionally about them. Are they going to be on an emotional high as Benny will drive and draw the foul? Will they be on an emotional high after the great shot, Miner's major miracle? Or will they be emotionally drained after such an up and down matchup? On the other side of things, the Hilltoppers, in my opinion, watching the two games over again, they played a bit more of a physical game than did the Rattlers, but that's kind of to their forte and their style and what they like to do.
Pass down low to Matthews, Isaiah, and he gets hacked, although Lindsay trying to claim that it was a jump ball. Instead, Matthews will head to the line to shoot two with 16:16 left here in the first half.
Yeah, good aggressive attitude. Neither of these pairings of big men trying to give an inch. Isaiah, he'll calmly sink the first. He's made a living at the free throw line over the second half of the season. He's shooting 77.6% from there. 2 of 2 here.
Rattlers trail by 2 here in the first half. 6-4 the score. Both teams not necessarily in the feeling out process, but just a lot of nerves you could see on the floor. Burton steps back. Nussman, mid-range jumper is good.
Yeah, and I like the two coaches' approaches on this one. Go ahead, leave your starters in. Let them set the tone. As the Hilltoppers, they've staked a 4-point lead, marching the biggest one of the day.
Matthews working inside on Lindsay. He lays it in with the left hand. And Matthews now with 6. All 6 points for the Rattlers coming courtesy of their big man, number 40.
And I love him dropping the shoulder there and making it into the up and under move. Bump that man off balance and then create for yourself and get the finish.
Lindsay now working on Isaiah. Trey Lindsay kicks it back out. The 3 is launched from Gramlich off the mark, and the rebound by Benny. Marvin looking to push. The Toronto, Ontario, Canada native takes it all the way to the hoop for 2.
And when your point guard can get you a board, transition is imminent. Benny pushing and scoring.
Mabolu over to Burton on the left side. Back to Frankie at the top. Lindsay now looking for Burton. Gets it to Burton. He's guarded by Bolton. Still plenty of time on the shot clock for the Hilltoppers. Nussman. Bump, hook shot in the lane, bounces around, no good, tipped around. Bolton able to save it, and here come the Rattlers and Marvin Witt. Witt working the point, guarded by Gramlich. Benny looking for Matthews down low. Matthews now. Shovel past Alexander. Justin puts it up, is tied up, and a jump ball is called. Possession will stay with the Rattlers as we reach our first media timeout. 14-13 left to play here in the first half. Rattlers and Hilltoppers tied at 8. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. 14-13 left here in the first half. Brian Maglio on alongside Joe Rodriguez, bringing you the Heartland Conference Championship right here on the Rattler Network. A pair of substitutions made by both teams. Into the game is Ryan Thomas for the St. Mary's Rattlers. And the freshly checked into the ball game, Lily, gets called for the foul against Isaiah Matthews.
And it looks like he'll be matched up against Isaiah. Isaiah a little bit taller than Lily. Also looks like he has a bit more bulk on him. With the hot start Isaiah's had, we'll see if the Rattlers continue to try to feed him down low.
Benny looking down low to Isaiah, who's been hot early on. Spin move, and Matthews able to finish with the right hand. Beautiful move, putting Lily in the spin cycle.
Isaiah is giving classes, and Lily's his first student. Great move down low. Come to class, Mr. Lily.
Matthews now with 8 to lead all scorers. Rattlers up by 2. Burton kicks it back out. Lily thought about the 3, takes it inside, too strong. Ryan Thomas with the board. Marvin Binney bringing it up the floor. Binney down the lane, and he draws the foul.
Aggression being rewarded right here for St. Mary's. Usually if you have aggression in any kind of sport, your team is the one, or in any kind of circumstance in life I should say, your team is the one that gets rewarded. Benny, he'll get rewarded by heading to the line for 2, the chance to give the Rattlers their biggest lead of the day.
Benny sinks the first free throw, and I wonder how much of the missed free throws he missed last game that could have potentially won the game for the Rattlers in regulation. How much is that weighing on Marvin's mind as he sinks both free throws? Usually a solid free throw shooter, and in the clutch just was not able to seal the deal for the Rattlers.
Yeah, but Marvin, he's a gamer himself, and he really relishes these opportunities. I think the thing that probably bothered him more was that he fouled out towards the end of overtime and wasn't able to be on the floor for that.
Lily, the hook shot no good. Ryan Thomas with the rebound.
Great help defense there, and then great job by Benny as well by helping the helper.
Witt driving into the lane, the flip, no good. Rebound by Nussman. And for the Rattlers, just checking into the ball game as great move inside by Lily for 2. The hero from last night, Chris Miner, as he sees his first action in the championship ball game. Chris Miner went berserk from behind the 3-point line, including the buzzer beater at the end of regulation to force OT and the winner in overtime.
The buzzer beater all the way from the Rattler. Isaiah again a great move, this time not able to finish, and Lily comes down with the board.
Isaiah lost his balance down low, and now Burton bringing the ball up. Nussman nearly loses it. Lily able to pick it back up. Plenty of time on the shot clock for the Hilltoppers.
And because of the scramble, we see some mismatches created, but with the lull in the action here, the Rattlers are able to adjust their matchups.
Burton, elbow jumper, off the mark. Rebound by Marvin Binney.
And he's been very active on the boards so far today. And I love every time there's a shot that's gone up, there's been at least 3 or 4 gold jerseys down low to get those defensive boards for the Rattlers.
Oh, great hook shot there by Ryan Thomas as he gets on the board for the first time this afternoon.
And you know, with the way that they came out shooting in the game yesterday, the Rattlers are trying to get established in the paint. They don't want to be in a situation where they were in yesterday, where they were forced to take outside shots.
Ball being swung around now. Gramlich driving. He's trapped by Witt. Burton now. 9 on the shot clock. Will have to create something. He does, and he banks it home for 2.
What a great move there by Burton. The Rattlers play good defense for a solid 30 seconds, but one quick step in just like that. Burton's in for the 2.
Benny bringing the ball up the floor now. He is guarded by Burton. Pick and roll at the top. Down low to Thomas. The 3 from Miner, too strong. And now, beautiful fast break, and Lily, the beneficiary, off a great pass from Gilbert.
And Gilbert, great vision there. He caught the ball with one hand, a nice flip. And just like that, 14-all, we're at a new ball game.
Binney taking it all the way in. Offensive foul.
And a good job there by Lilly. I mentioned the aggressive attitude of St. Mary's earlier. Well, one great way to negate it is to get over, set your feet, and take those charges.
Media timeout on the floor. And just like our previous media timeout, both teams tied, this time at 14, as you're watching the 2015 Heartland Conference Tournament right here on the Rattler Network. .10:16 left to play in the first half. St. Edward's and St. Mary's tied at 14. Brian Maglione alongside Joe Rodriguez calling the action. Live from Bill Greehey Arena, as both teams trying to claim the title of Heartland Conference champion. The St. Mary's Rattlers, the regular season champion, taking on the number 2 team in the Heartland Conference, the St. Edward's Hilltoppers, as the jumper from Lilly is off the mark. Marvin Binney bringing the ball up the floor.
Joe Monroe checking into the game during the break. Also, we saw King check in for the Hilltoppers.
In addition, for the Rattlers, Bryce Smith seeing his first action of the evening, as Monroe, hard drive to the basket, nearly lost it, tried drawing the foul, but no whistle was blown, and possession will go to the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, he was trying to feed it in there down low to Thomas, but the thing was, when he made the move, Thomas's eyes were towards the glass to try to grab the rebound, and he didn't see the pass as a result of it.
Gilbert now over to King, who misses off the move, and right there, a solid shot, but you would have liked to seen King set his feet and take the shot without leaning in, as Ryan Thomas spinning in the lane. A bit of Hakeem Olajuwon right there, but unable to finish.
Yeah, it was a good move, but just couldn't get that finish. Pull-up jumper in transition. They're going to get Smith for the foul there as he fouls the jump shooter. Gilbert, he'll head to the line for 2. And those are the kind of fouls you really don't want to have happen.
Gilbert at the line to shoot 2.
He shot 74% from the free throw line on the year. Averaged 5.4 points per game. So he'll miss on that first one. See Sean Watkins now check in for Burton, as Burton will get his first rest of the game.
Both teams fairly even in the field goal department. Rattlers shooting better than 38%, while the Hilltoppers shooting just under 32%.
Also, Jay Ricketts checking into the game for the Hilltoppers. So he'll see his first action.
Binney gets a pick from Thomas. Another pick, Marvin going to the right side. Pull-up jumper is good. Book it for Marvin Binney.
And good to see Marvin get off to a hot start. He has 6 already. He didn't score until the second half in the first game of yesterday.
The 3 from the point by Ricketts is no good. Rebound by Monroe.
And these two teams really going at each other on the boards. St. Mary's, though, able to eke out the early edge, 14-10.
Looks like Alexander and Matthews about to check in for the Rattlers as Binney releases from the elbow. No good. And Lilly takes a hard fall, a bit slow to get up. As we see Watkins bringing the ball up the floor. Now over to the right side and King. King swings it over to Gilbert now. Guarded by Binney. High screen and roll. Gilbert goes left. Pull up jumper, no good. And the rebound snagged right out of the air by Monroe.
Yeah, both of these teams have been taking a lot of mid-range jumpers these past possessions. Despite what you would think, the mid-range jumper, one of the worst shots that you can take in basketball. As a result, we've seen these two teams combine for 1 of 4 from mid-range. I'd like to see them try to work it around a little bit more and try to get it into the paint.
Ball nearly turned over, potential jump ball, and it is a jump ball, but St. Edward's will get possession with 7:42 left to play here in the first half. Another media timeout on the floor. Rattlers lead by 2 as we head to commercial break. You are watching the 2015 Heartland Conference Tournament right here on the Rattler Network.
And welcome back, everyone. Just about to get back into the action. 7:12 remaining here in the game as Isaiah Matthews and Justin Alexander, the starting bigs, have checked in for the Rattlers. I'm Joe Rodriguez, joined inside Brian Maglulion. And Brian, these two teams seem to be neck and neck the whole way. Only 2 points separating them, and they've been very close at every single one of these media timeouts.
No team really able to gain the edge as the ball is turned over right there. King's pass intended for his big down low. It was intended for Jay Ricketts. As Nussman checks back into the ball game for the Hilltoppers. Rattlers with possession. 6:50 left to play in the first half.
Yeah, an interesting thing right there. That's the first turnover that the Hilltoppers have committed this game. St. Mary's on the other end, they've committed 5 so far as they're going to post up Marvin Binney right there. Good block there by Nussman. St. Mary's still have 18 on the clock and the ball on the baseline.
And the Rattlers now coming in with Marvin Witt, who will check back into the ball game. Marvin Binney will take a quick breather. And we saw the likes of Binney, Alexander, Minor, and Witt playing long stretches, playing down the stretch when the Rattlers were coming back from that double-digit deficit as Alexander unable to hit. Gilbert takes it out of his hands, and now here comes Burton. Spin move, strip. Great active hands on the defensive end for the Rattlers as they look to push.
Yeah.
Minor. Down low to Matthews. Isaiah gets bumped and taken down hard by Nussman.
He's grabbing at his shoulder. And Isaiah's back up, but let's hope he's all right on that shoulder. It is his shooting one. Great defensive play on the other end by Witt. The little man knew there was no point in him trying to go for the block, so he goes for the strip instead. With his quick and active hands, he was able to prevent that bucket. Now Isaiah to the line for 2.
And looks like there's a wet spot on the floor.
Little cleanup. Rowdy Rattlers are some characters, huh? Isaiah back to the line again. He has 8 points so far today.
First free throw from Matthews, a bit short, and he's favoring that right shoulder.
Yeah, there's something up with that. He landed on it funny. He's going to try to tough it out, though.
Second free throw falls through for Isaiah and the Rattlers in a full court press.
Yeah, and they executed very well in this press yesterday in their big comeback, but St. Edward's breaking it and attacking it.
Burton unable to hit the lay-in, and Alexander with the board. Witt, spin move, gets by his man. Witt looking to take it all the way. Down to Minor, and he's fouled.
And great job creating by the blur, Marvin Witt, getting his teammate Minor in great position to get to the foul line.
And Minor will head to the line to shoot 2.
Minor yet to get on the scorer's sheet today. On the year, he averages 9.8 points, and he shoots 63% from the line. Is that first one put in here? Rattlers are going to go a little bit small right now. J.J. Bolton checking in for Isaiah Matthews. J.J., though, he did start for a lot of the year at that power forward spot. And this Rattler team, when they go small, they play a bit more quickness and can really rev up the pressure.
Pressure being shown once again by the Rattlers. Bramlich nearly trapped in the backcourt. Gilbert now looking for a teammate. He does. And Alexander doing what he does best and playing defense, whether it be taking a charge or blocking a shot. Justin Alexander, just the man to do it.
Yeah, and Justin Alexander, number 4 in program history in blocks. Who knows where he is on the charge list, probably higher up than that. And it's such a weapon to be able to draw those charges when you're in the back of that press defense.
Bryce Smith now working on Ramir Burton. Over to Minor on the right side. Gets it over to J.J. Bolton. Witt down low to Alexander. Justin, the hook shot is good. And on that possession, all 5 Rattlers on the floor had a touch, finishing off with the Alexander score.
Yeah, and you can see all the experience the Rattlers have had on the floor right now. These guys have been to regional tournaments in the past. They know when it's the right time to turn it on. And you see them going on a run here, the biggest lead of the day at 7 points.
Foul is called on the play, and it'll be called on Smith. That's his second personal foul. 4th team foul against the Rattlers.
Yeah, and St. Mary's, they've been playing hard defense without fouling. And because of that, no free throws yet for St. Ed's on that end of things. Meanwhile, the Rattlers, they'll be shooting in at least the 1-and-1 for the remainder of the half.
Baseline out of bounds. Burton, mid-range jumper no good. Alexander nearly had it, stripped by Benny, and it'll go out of bounds. Last touch by Marvin.
That one was a close one. I thought it might have been off of Nussman's foot, but referees have a better view of it than we do up here.
And in for Chris Minor is Cam Pierce. We're seeing him for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, the Rattlers replace one dynamic shooter with another. As Cam Pierce checks in for the first time.
Burton spin move, Nussman up fake, taking it all the way in. Flip shot is good.
And a great move right there. And you see Alexander has to respect the range of Nussman, and therefore Alexander caught out of position and the easy 2 on the floater.
21-16, 4.5 left to play here in the first half. Cam Pierce looking inside to Alexander. Justin banging in down low with Nussman, nearly loses it. Finds Pierce. Rattlers still have 10 on the shot clock now. Down low to Alexander. Great post position as he flips it over. Nussman for 2.
Yeah, and you see Alexander doing the work before he had to make the move. When Justin has that deep of position, there's no stopping him, and the Hilltoppers will need a timeout. Rattlers lead by 7 as you're watching the Heartland Conference Championship here on the Rattler Network.
4:08 left to play in the first half. Rattlers lead the Hilltoppers by 7. Another backdoor play as Burton had to alter his shot. Great defense there by Alexander once again. Just his sheer presence is creating havoc for these Hilltoppers.
Yeah, and you mentioned it right there. Here's Bolton now in the paint trying to get the finish, but not able to do so, and Lindsay will come down with the board.
Mabolu over to the left side, excuse me. Now he gets it back, and now he's at the top of the key. Ramir Burton now. Lindsay asking for it down low, has the size advantage over J.J. Bolton. And Bolton will take the foul as he hacked Lindsay on the arm. Trey Lindsay will head to the line to shoot two, a redshirt junior from Austin, Texas. We'll head to a media timeout, final media timeout of the half, as you are watching the 2015 Heartland Conference Tournament on the Rattler Network.
What name do you both refer to each other as?
I have a great answer.
Correct. Both of them are correct.
That's solid. Let's go. It took me a second.
.327 remain here in the first half. Brian Maglione alongside Joe Rodriguez. St. Mary's and St. Edwards in a rubber match to decide the Heartland Conference champion of 2015. And to say the least, this game has lived up to the hype, as first free throw is good for Trey Lindsay.
Yeah, Lindsay, he shot 69% from the free throw line this year. And you're right, the hype is being lived up to, as both of these teams going back and forth. St. Mary's, they've pulled away for the first real lead of the game, but Hilltoppers look like they're poised to come back. And looks like we're going to see some full court pressure out of the Hilltoppers for the first time today.
And we saw how it helped the Rattlers get back into the ball game, as St. Mary's content with taking their time and breaking the press down, which they're able to do. Cam Pierce for three. Oh, just short of the mark. And we've mentioned this throughout the course of the season. Every time Pierce releases that stroke of his, it looks good, and it's up to the ball to decide almost if it goes in or not.
Yeah, Cam Pierce, one of those lethal shooters. And when you have great shooters coming off your bench like Minor and Pierce, it just adds so much depth and versatility to your team. You never know when you're going to have a huge scoring output. 5 seconds on the shot clock here.
Burton will have to launch for three. Book it.
That's the second time that Burton's burned the Rattlers late in the shot clock. And St. Mary's just playing good defense but better offense out of Burton on those two occasions.
Benny guarded by Burton. High screen and roll. Benny taking it hard to the basket. The scoop for two is good.
Man, the spin Benny had to put on that one to get the finish. And also the presence of mind to put it over the top of the big man as well. What a finish.
Gramlich now, top of the key, gets a pick from Nussman. Dribble handoff over to Burton now. Ramir Burton at the top of the key, guarded by Benny. Another interesting matchup. Two explosive players, both Benny and Burton. 9 on the shot clock. Lilly kicks it back out. Burton looking for another three. Off the mark, Cam Pierce with the board, and the Rattlers will bring it up, and they slow the pace down. Coach Zelznak giving his instructions. A minute and a half left to play in this first half.
Yeah, and a crucial minute and a half right here. A 4-0 run for either team could mean the world.
Pierce nearly loses it, bobbled it around, gets it over to Bolton. 11 on the shot clock. JJ, baseline drive, off the mark, and possession will go to St. Ed's, as the official said it hit the side of the backboard, although they are conferring now.
It looked like Nussman got the block to me.
And Rattlers will get the ball.
There'll be 8 seconds on the shot clock for St. Mary's, so they're going to have to create quickly here.
The sideline official went over to the baseline official and said, I had a better view, and the Rattlers get the benefit of the call. 8 on the shot clock. Witt. Step back. 5, 4 on the shot clock. 3. Binney will have to force it up. Binney for 3, short. Rebound by Lilly, and Lilly bringing it up the floor. Lilly swung around, tip. Trapped in a corner is Gramlich, and a timeout is called by the Hilltoppers as Gramlich was caught between a rock and a hard place. 57 seconds left to play in the first half.
And great scramble defense there out of the Rattlers. They had to get back in transition. They actually had a couple of men who had to really hustle back because they crashed that offensive glass. Lilly, the big man, bringing it up the floor, was trying to create, but Marvin Witt, even though he doesn't have a point yet on the board, has been valuable to the St. Mary's team with how he's been able to create and with how he's been such a pest on the defensive end as well.
And you said the final minute and a half, very pivotal. Both teams unable to capitalize on a couple of opportunities. As we return to action, Burton, spin move in the lane. Good for 2. The Hilltoppers getting the 2-for-1 opportunity that they wanted. Alexander now bringing the ball up the floor. Justin, definitely not one you want to handle the ball. Binney taking it all the way and kicking it out. Witt thought about the 3 in the lane. Fadeaway jumper off the mark. Alexander bobbles it, and Binney has the ball. And I don't believe the shot clock reset.
No, it did not. St. Mary's with 10 on the shot clock here.
And Binney trying to tell the official that the shot clock reset as he loses the ball, and he's telling the official.
Even if they can go back and review that to see how much time to put on the shot clock, but if you're Marvin Binney, you cannot be complaining in the middle of the play. You have to keep on playing and keep on going. Leave it up to your coaches to go ahead and get the attention of the referees. It would have been nice to have the extra time on the clock, but you got to go ahead and play through that kind of thing.
And the officials conferring, and it looks like they may go to the replay. 19.3 left on the game clock. As of right now, 5 seconds left on the shot clock.
Yeah, and it was actually a really great offensive board by Justin Alexander. If you saw it, he saw Witt release the ball, and he kind of read it like an outfielder would read it off the bat. He knew where it was going to be and was able to get in position because of it. St. Mary's, they've been good on the offensive glass, but St. Ed's, they've been just as good. 4 offensive rebounds for both teams, creating those extra possessions, I should say. As these two teams, they've really, this game's turned into a bit of a slugger, not shooting well from the field and kind of leaving it up to the bigs to get the action done down low.
This evolving, as you said, into a slugfest, a knock 'em out, drag 'em out type of game where hustle plays mean all the more as we get set for halftime. 19.3 seconds left to play. The officials still conferring. Fans, we'd like to take this time out to invite you to check out RattlerAthletics.com for more information on the 2015 Heartland Conference Tournament. We have all the links and statistics from the 2 semifinal games that occurred here last night here at Bill Greehey Arena, and it looks like they've put on 18 seconds on the shot clock. So 1.3 second differential between game and shot clock for St. Mary's. In all likelihood, you could expect them to possibly hold for the final shot as they have a 2-point edge over the Hilltoppers.
Also, just a lot more options now coming out of this timeout. They're going to be able to inbound it, create a bit more. They don't have to worry about a shot clock violation quite yet.
Witt over on the left side, gets it back to Marvin Binney.
Benny usually likes to go at around the 7-second mark and will usually take a screen from one of his big men.
As he mentioned, 7 seconds. Benny takes it all the way in, lays it up for 2. Bolton with the steal. JJ puts it up, and just like that, the Rattlers reel off 4 points in less than 7 seconds, and they push their lead to 6 heading into the half, and that must be a momentum shifter to say the least, as Coach Andre Cook not happy with the call, and he is headed to the locker room in a mad heap. But the story of the first half, Rattlers lead by 6. Partner, your takeaway from the first half of action.
Well, the Rattlers, they seem to make just a couple more scrappy plays, in my opinion. You saw a perfect example of it down there at the end. And as a result, the extra little hustle has given them a 6-point advantage going into the half. The main thing that has surprised me for St. Mary's is the bad shooting percentage from behind the arc. They're currently 0 of 5 from behind the 3-point line. If they can straighten that statistic out and start shooting a little bit better in the second half, then St. Mary's should be able to take firm control of this game. St. Ed's, though, also, if they start shooting better as well, we could see quite the battle heading up toward the conclusion.
Well, halftime here in the championship game of the Heartland Conference. St. Mary's leads St. Edward's 29-23. We will take a quick break, but stay tuned. The second half will be here shortly, right here on the Rattler Network.